Hey everybody, this is Film Juice. I'm John,
Mike,
and today we're going to be juicing some Christmas movies. Most of these were released within the past 3 years, and then afterwards we want to share some of our suggestions of what to watch this Christmas season. And do you want to go ahead and start with this one, Mike?
yeah, where should we begin? Let's see. All right, so I recently became aware of Prancer from 1989. It's a movie about a little girl who finds an injured reindeer, and she's so entrenched in the Christmas myth that she her father is nice enough to let her nurse it back to health in their barn. And this is a really rough movie, to be honest. The little girl goes through a lot of trials and tribulations of getting her father to uh, acknowledge her feelings. And I should say her father is Sam Elliott, who, you don't, hopefully it's the only time I cuss in this. You don't fuck with Sam Elliott because he is a scary man. But he's a rough father. There may be some rough happenings going on with his farm. He's gonna have to send his daughter off to live with her aunt. And yeah, little girl she just wants to take care of reindeer and believe in Santa Claus. Very touching movie. I watched it like every year as a kid. Um, so it's very much entrenched in my Christmas memories. There's no special effects, nothing magical looking. Um, the spirit of the movie is all in implied um, Christmas magic. There's no there are no overt special effects. There's nothing. I think there's one like shimmer that they inappropriately added once the little girl and her dad come across the deer. But it's overall a very much a family movie. If you're into slower, kind of a little bit calmer, less chaotic, it's very much just a girl nursing an animal back to health. If your kid isn't overstimulated by the holidays, or if your kid is overstimulated, maybe this could tranquilize them. Uh,
I
it's a
think
nice calming movie.
I think a lot of kids too really like animals. I've
Yeah,
noticed, and see someone in pain, and see a child take care of. That's
yeah,
something as I think a kid would definitely connect
yeah.
to.
Speaking to that, I was as a kid, this kind of inspired me to want to be a veterinarian. I'm not one, but it wanted me to become one. Uh, I'm very much not a veterinarian.
Nice. No, that's that's a cute story. I'm sorry. I'm like laughing all
I
over
mean,
your story.
it didn't pan
I don't
out,
mean it
but
like that.
it didn't pan out, but it did in the moment. It kind of worked, but I'm not a
Nice.
veterinarian, and I have no regrets.
Nice.
And you will have no regrets if you watch this movie. But no, it's a really good movie. Prancer 1989 version. I saw there's a remake, which I am not gonna watch. I'm not gonna compare it because it's gonna be really crappy. This movie is very much 80s
On
material.
HBO Max right now, right?
It's on HBO Max right now. If you want to pay for it and feed some fat cats, it's on Prime for $2.
Cool. Well, I might do that. I might pick it up. Yeah, I usually find the stream is better when I purchase it than on than when
It
I stream
is,
it. Yeah.
unfortunately, yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. So
What you
I'll
got?
start. Oh, what's that?
No, I said what you got.
So I saw this movie called Spirited on
Mm.
I uh what is it? Apple TV.
Yeah, there you go.
And this one was released this year, 2022, in November. Will Ferrell, Ryan Reynolds are both in it. Will Ferrell plays the ghost of Christmas Present, and Ryan Reynolds is the Scrooge character in the film. At the heart of it is a Christmas Carol. It makes fun of itself, and it makes fun of other iterations of a Christmas Carol, like Scrooged. They even reference the movie. Ryan Reynolds is like,
Oh.
"Is this like Scrooged?" And it is part musical, which surprised me. I don't know if I had just forgotten that part in the preview or what, but I wasn't expecting that. And the songs are very bad; they're not really good,
Oh,
to be
geez.
honest. And these are huge actors, so they have an interesting side of them because they're good at what they do. I think these two comedians working together is a little. There's some awkwardness there.
Yeah,
uh,
they're not synced up comedically. I don't think there's. So Ryan Reynolds has the sarcasm. Will Ferrell is more of like an absurdist.
and I think that was one of the biggest things is between like these three different factors, like of there's this bad music, and there's these two big actors and personalities, right?
Mhm.
Um, just kind of like didn't create a flow and in getting each other's way, and um, but at the heart of it, it is a Christmas Carol. So I found myself like through these kind of hard parts. I just kept thinking to myself, if I just wait through this part, maybe there'll be a good part. There'll be something
Yeah,
substantial and good. And that's pretty much how it kind of went. I mean, there'd be about 10 minutes of okay stuff, and then you get back to the Christmas Carol like heart of things, right? And then that would happen. You'd see an actual past event in Ryan Reynolds' character's life that that kind of explains why he's a Scrooge, just like in A Christmas Carol, and
mm,
and that's what kind of kept me um,
engaged.
engaged and like endure these other bad parts of the movie that I didn't enjoy. But it did remind me a lot of Scrooged, and I know you like that movie, Mike, a
I
lot.
love that movie. I have
Um,
yet to watch it. I'm gonna watch it on Christmas Day.
So yeah, some awkward jokes. There are some funny moments as well. I lean more towards this one being like a PG, between PG and PG-13 movie, by the way.
Hmm.
And that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Would you recommend it to anybody?
The three movies that I'm going to talk about. This is the one I'd recommend second to watch, and I think this one definitely caters to more of an adult audience, like teenage to adult audience.
Okay.
What's up next, Mike?
Let's see. All right. So I watched Mixed Nuts with Steve Martin from 1994. It's set in a so Steve Martin stars as Philip, who heads up a like a suicide hotline. Is that a thing? Am I saying that right? Like a like if you feel like killing yourself, you call them.
Yeah.
Um, so it's called Lifesavers, the suicide hotline that Steve Martin is in
Okay.
charge of. It's
Okay.
him, and it's funny enough. Okay, I'm gonna point this out. Rita Wilson, the mom from Jingle All the Way, she stars in this. She's very young. She plays this kind of mousy, kind of naive young woman. It's her, and then it's Madeline Kahn plays an older lady who also works there. And on Christmas Eve, they find out they're going to be evicted. At the same time, there are people calling in. There's a lot of like Frasier-esque humor to be found in it, where people call in and uh, I think the first call that they receive, um, is a guy at a phone booth. It's actually in the trailer. A guy in a phone booth, and he calls. And he's like, "I'm at the end of my rope. I want to kill myself." And something happens to distract the people that answer the call, and they just hear a gunshot. And
Oh shoot.
but it's played for laughs. It's played for like these people are hapless. They don't know what they're doing. Um,
Oh, okay. So that's like the dark comedy side of it.
that's the dark comedy side of it. Yeah, and then
Wow.
Adam Sandler is in this, but he plays like a downstairs neighbor. Um, Basically, everyone that's introduced ends up in the same space at some point. That's what it feels like, a stage play almost. I don't know what the plot is.
I
That's
was gonna
actually a good.
ask, do they end up like
It's just
together on Christmas or?
what happens. What happens is like there's a series of events that leads to them being in the same place on Christmas. It's really just a series of small happenings. I mean, I'm all over the place. The Lifesavers suicide hotline is they're going to be evicted from their space. Steve Martin is trying to figure out like what are they going to do. But so Steve Martin's in charge of it, and he's got to tell his only two employees, which are Madeline Kahn and Rita Wilson. He's got to tell them we're out of business on Christmas Eve,
Oh
and
wow.
um, he's trying his best to figure out like a way to make money fast. So weirdly, there's like all these like little cross connections. Rita Wilson's character Catherine, she knows Juliette Lewis, who is a pregnant, uh, I want to say like reseller or thrift store owner, um, who is married to a an ex convict, Anthony LaPaglia, um, who's dressed up as Santa, and because she threw out all of his clothes, so he has nothing to wear but a Santa suit.
Okay. And
So all these people gather together accidentally, and just nonsense happens. They need the money, so Anthony LaPaglia, like, oh my god, this is so, like, saying it out loud. There's also like this mention of a seaside strangler. So this takes place on Venice Beach in California. I gotta go back, dude. This movie's a mess. It's very silly. I think it's very funny, but it's pretty dark. It's a dark movie, and it makes fun of its own darkness.
this is a comedy. It sounds
This
like
is a comedy.
so it's not
There's
trying to
some
be anything
No, it's not trying to
else.
be. Yeah, it's not trying to be anything but funny.
Okay.
Um, it's got if you pay attention to the
Okay. So maybe you'd recommend this to someone who's
someone who's got like a dark sense of humor.
okay.
Yeah, I think it's, yeah, not definitely not for everybody, especially if you're a millennial. You're not gonna like this movie. Let's just face it.
Gotcha. So
Probably
not
not gonna watch this.
not for the modern
Not
generations.
for modern. Yeah, watching it, I was like, oh god, like, who could I possibly show this to? Um, but yeah, Steve Martin is great in it. Uh, what's her name? Tom Hanks' wife is great in it. I forget her name. Rita Wilson. Um, Great, really good cast. Excellent cast. Madeline Kahn. Uh, just generally, just a really good cast. I would recommend it to anybody who's got like a dark sense of humor about the holidays.
All right. This next one I wouldn't recommend
Mm.
unless you're a big fan of the first movie, which is A Christmas Story. Um, this one is a sequel, Christmas Story Christmas, and it's on HBO Max right now. Oh yeah, was Mixed Nuts on anything? I don't know. You said Peacock, I think, right?
Oh, it's on. I believe it's on Peacock, and I know for sure it's on Prime.
Oh, okay. So, A Christmas Story Christmas is takes place 33 years after the original, set in 1973, and it follows the kid Ralphie. Not such a bad premise, but he's trying to write a book. It's around the Christmas season. He finds out his father has passed away, and he's going to his mother's house to comfort her during Christmas. Like the clothing, the movie sets, um, they all look like the 70s. They did a real good job there. He's Ralph is still reminiscing, daydreaming like he did when he was a kid. It didn't feel like like it was in the 70s because the film style also was more like a modern day show film style.
Yeah.
The dialogue was just bad. The script wasn't very good at all, and so
Okay.
the characters came off like too dramatic, like in a TV show too.
Mm.
And like for instance, there was a, a scene where carolers come by the house, and Ralph is narrating and saying, "Oh no, it's this carolers, the worst thing ever," and him and his mom are hiding behind like his like 70-year-old mom, like hiding behind a couch, and he's a 50-year-old man. And it's like
Yeah.
uh it looks so it looked out of character, and it looked just
They were trying to make it satirical of like hardened hearts tried to get together and trash Christmas, and it's like, eh,
that was a scene where it's just like what how's this contributing to the story. Out of the three I watched, this is the one I would recommend least. um
mm.
but if you're a big fan, of the first one, I don't see why. It's good to see the actor, the kid Ralph, and reprise his role. I think some others reprise their roles, like his friends, his childhood friends.
Yeah, they brought back, from what I know, they brought back as many of the cast as they possibly could.
That was A Christmas Story Christmas. I don't really recommend it at all, especially if you're not familiar with the first one. Really, I would stay away from this one.
Mm, okay. Yes. Let me talk about Guardians briefly. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay. Um, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special is um, available to watch at the very least. I thought it's directed and written by James Gunn, so I anticipated there being some very good humor and some well earned performances. And because of the budget of the movie, it all takes place on the soundstage. Um, and you only get to see Drax and Mantis, who are concerned about Peter Quill. Peter Quill is having a rough time because it's Christmas time and he doesn't have a family. Drax and Mantis go to Earth and they try to find Kevin Bacon to bring back to Peter Quill because Peter Quill always talks about Kevin Bacon and how great he is. So they figure that's going to be a good present. I mean, I honestly, I would think that's a really great present. However, um, Mantis subdues Kevin Bacon with her power. So they bring Kevin Bacon back to. They're on this giant floating head called Nowhere. Apparently, the Guardians now own it. But so she brings Kevin Bacon there, where Peter is, and Peter freaks out in a bad way. and yeah, it's a cute story. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to establish themselves as being a holiday mainstay. Um, I would say there's too much going on to kind of minimalize the Guardians. I think there's, if it were like a little Groot, baby Groot, or Rocket Raccoon, baby Groot kind of caper, it would be a cool like thing to revisit every year. This I have no desire to revisit even this year. It's fine.
Yeah, it's
Like it doesn't feel like a fun holiday thing. It feels like a cash grab. Like, yeah,
gotcha.
I'm gonna see Guardians in the spring, the new one. I don't, and also like it's kind of a trick to like don't don't throw in Easter eggs in the holiday special. Don't do that. Like I
Oh
caught them,
wow. Are you
but like
serious?
don't, yeah, like don't do that. If this is just a novelty for you, like don't treat it seriously. Don't tell me that I have to take it seriously when you did. That sounds very personal, but that's how I took
Th-
it.
There's that, and then it could also be too just if you're gonna do a Christmas movie, just make it a Christmas movie.
Yeah, just make it
Or
Christmas.
yeah.
And
Uh,
there's very like that's not to slight the thing itself. It's the intention, really. Because honestly, it's fine. Like watch it once, get it out of your system, and
right. I hear you. And I think a lot of these new things, like the movies I mentioned and this one here, like they're at least they're they're kind of like there to get you to the platform or
right,
to incentivize you to stay with these streaming services essentially. Like that's what they are there for.
yeah.
And they're not new classics, sadly. Um,
No, and this one, unfortunately, like it's not for me personally. It's not one that I'm gonna watch every year.
yeah.
Um, like
I
it's
was
just too much of a farce.
is it kid friendly and family
Absolutely,
friendly? Okay.
absolutely family friendly. Um, but the thing is, the two most family friendly characters, they can't afford to put them in the special.
Uh,
So there's
mm,
not very much Rocket and Groot. It's just Mantis and Drax.
okay.
But I mean, it picked. They're in there. They're just not very much in there. Um, like I think it's a perfectly fine little short short film. Whatever you want to call it. I think it's a stretch calling it a new Christmas classic, like some people are.
Gotcha.
I don't see it as being that. I think it's pretty mediocre. If you're a big nerd, if you're like a hardcore Marvel nerd, yeah, this is going to be on your watch list next year. But otherwise, I don't think people are going to care.
Okay. My highest recommendation from the movies I've seen is going to be 8-Bit Christmas.
Mm,
And this one, I still recommend it the way I recommend the other two is in the realm of watch it once and see what you think. And I think this is the one that's probably gonna land the best out of the three. Um, I think this one has a more substantial story. Uh, Overall cast is really good together. The script is decent, I would say. And the family scenes, there are family scenes that are really probably the highlight. They're the highlight of the film whenever the family comes up. And this movie is a lot like A Christmas Story. It follows a kid in the '80s who is trying to get his hands on a Nintendo.
Right.
He's he narrates. He except in this one, you do it has you hear his older self narrating,
Hmm.
and he's his older self, played by Neil Patrick Harris, is explaining to his daughter, is telling his daughter this story of this one Christmas in the '80s when he wanted the Nintendo and all the things he had to go through with his friends and um how it's like new technology. It's neat. You see the Nintendo, like you see the box art, you see um the Power Glove makes an appearance, the Nintendo Power Glove, and what else? The light gun, and how it's just like amazing, and so that's fun too. The relationship with the with his friends, and it's set in the Midwest, by the way. The relationship with his friends is there's some good moments there. It doesn't get to the Goonies level though. Um, it doesn't get to the even Stranger Things level. It it falls short in that regard. So
Yeah.
the jokes in the movie don't land very well. I'd say half the time, and it doesn't lean into the era, and it tries to keep it modern. The traditions and things like that aren't really leaned into, and even again with the dialogue, it could have. Um, I feel like it could have leaned into that the cultural aspects a lot more
Yeah.
um, and better. But overall, I mean, it does end with a good on a good note. There's a lesson, uh, you know, for throughout the whole thing, and it's it is pretty much kid friendly, family friendly. So yeah, this is the one I would recommend if you're gonna watch one of these that I brought up. At least I'd recommend. This is at the top of my list, and it's this one's streaming on HBO Max as well, and you can buy it digitally and everything too. Did you want to move on to like our recommendations?
Absolutely. You lead.
Okay, so I'd like to recommend. Here's just some fun ones. Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Mm.
Gremlins.
You know what's a funny, maybe not overtly Christmas, because I think once you can tell me if I'm wrong about this, if you can extract the core of the movie from Christmas and have it still be meaningful, it's not really a Christmas movie. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
So I'm thinking Just Friends. Have you seen Just Friends with Ryan Reynolds and Amy?
Oh yeah. Uh huh.
That it takes place during Christmas, and there's some like really funny wintry Christmas gags in it. I would say that's a really funny, really good. In my opinion, really good comedy. Um,
I thought it was funny.
um,
That's one of the ones that I like from Ryan Reynolds actually too.
yeah,
Um, but I know you're a bigger Ryan Reynolds fan than me. I know you love him, but yeah.
I, do I come off that way?
Yeah, you do.
Oh my goodness.
Especially when you talk about Deadpool.
Oh well, Deadpool. Yeah,
But yeah, it's select for me with Ryan Reynolds, and that's but that one, Just Friends is one that I'll actually revisit that one. You know.
yeah. That one's it's pretty funny, and then Anna Faris is really good in it. Um, and so is Amy. What's her name? Who is in a lot of things. But yeah, I would
He looks
recommend
funny,
that.
fat,
No, that was hilarious.
and
Yeah,
he does seem gay. Like,
yeah. It wasn't. it wasn't her
Amy
fault,
Smart,
right? Amy Smart, yeah.
and she thought he was gay. And you remember that?
Yeah.
She's like, I thought you were gay. And he's just so funny the way he plays that character.
No, it's a very good. I think that's a good Christmas movie. It is set during Christmas, and the whole thing between him and his brother is pretty funny. The I don't want to say pranking, but like the constant like fighting.
And isn't it his younger brother
It's his younger brother, yeah.
or
He even says like, I don't care how skinny you are. You always be fat to me. No, it's a very funny movie to revisit.
some that I like to watch is like The Little Drummer Boy. Charlie Brown Christmas is a really good one too. One that I'm watching right now, I still haven't finished it, is The Nativity Story,
Which
and
is
that one is a live action telling of the Nativity, and it fills in all the detail. Like it fills in like a lot of details, where Mary came from and Joseph, and them getting married, and then hearing the news that Mary's pregnant with Jesus, and then their whole journey up into his birth. It really tries to be authentic. You hear some Hebrew, and it looks like they're there in that part of the world. So yeah, I'm surprised that there aren't actually more Christmas movies around the Nativity. Um,
there was, well, I was gonna say the one with Oscar Isaac, but
that's the one I'm talking about.
yeah, yeah.
And that one was in 2006. I didn't realize it was that old.
You might find some nativity fan films. I'm not even joking. That's not sarcastic. On YouTube or something.
Oh yeah, I wonder. But I guess it goes to show. I don't know if that how that reflects on on our culture, really.
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess sometimes they do center around some kind of consumerism at the end of the day, and a lot of them do. And yeah, it doesn't feel right to be, you know what I mean, to
it's
be celebrating just things.
yeah. Hence, Jingle All the Way being it's a commentary on the consumerism, and then it's at the same time enabling it
Right.
because on one hand it's like I don't need you know okay, everyone's after the toy, and then at the end of the movie it's, oh well, you represent my toy now, and it's like, well, that's not exactly healthy, but okay.
Right. And it's like they come together all around him being his
him
son,
having
seeing him
being him
as
having
go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say him having being Turbo Man, um representing the toy that he wanted, and now the son loves him more for being a representative of his own toys. You know what
Exactly.
bothered me? You know what really bothered me about that movie?
But
Um, he never actually got a Turbo Man.
as a kid, did you think about that? Like,
I did.
yeah, I think I want to say I did too. I was like,
Like he never
man,
actually got it. He gave it away to a convict.
that's right, because he said, because my
He's like,
dad's a
here you
real
go.
Turbo Man, right?
And they're like, oh, I guess this is evidence now. Everyone's got to
And
go
they
to court
arrest
for
him,
that.
right?
Yeah, they arrested that guy. It's like, Jesus.
That was well, he went really crazy, but yeah, it's like the consumerism worked for Arnold, but it didn't work for him,
Yeah,
right? Because
the
he didn't.
disenfranchised black man.
I know it almost it would seem that way.
Oh no, what have we done?
But yeah, when I think about it, because him and Arnold aren't very different. It's just the choice, like
Like,
you
yeah,
know,
when they meet up, it's like they're head to head. He's just a mailman, but you kind of want to root for the mailman. He's the
yeah, you
average
want to root
guy.
for them. Like both of them, I feel like, yeah, exactly, and he's makeshifting bombs with the mail.
Yeah, what the hell? He knows which mails are bombs. He knows which mailings are bombs.
And one goes off and in a building or something like that, and
Yeah, he almost killed a bunch of police officers, by the
he
way.
did.
The hell? I mean, I guess it's a commentary on how crazy the season makes you in terms of
It definitely is.
being a consumer.
And it's a lot like Black Friday used to be.
Very much. Oh, dude. Yeah, I mean, it still is. It still is. Maybe not so much because of online shopping.
Yeah,
Thank God for online shopping.
it has died down a bit, but I even went out. I think I did go out that Friday for a little bit shopping.
And somebody pinch you.
Um, Someone grabbed me by the throat,
Oh, fuck.
threw me across the room, and
And then you landed the way you landed was a 3 point landing. You
yeah, I
just,
landed on my feet and I tore my shirt off
yeah, you jumped at him.
and it went down. He went
Yeah.
down. But yeah, dude, there was like stuff all over the stores. People were trying to make sure they got because I think we found clothes. We went to some clothing stores and yeah, people were. It was interesting though because like stuff was on sale, but it wasn't on sale. If that makes sense, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like it was marked higher than it normally would be, and then marked down to what
it should be.
it should be. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, jeez.
So there was a lot of stuff like that, and then the super cheap stuff is just like, is that really worth it though? Like, am I really gonna? How long is that gonna
What
last me, really?
What do you want to pass up the chance, Johnny? Do you want to pass up the chance that it's not?
I don't know. I don't know. Do I?
Hurry, make a decision.
Yeah. So
It's gonna be gone. It's gonna be gone. It's going to fucking purgatory or whatever wherever clothes go.
it's gonna be double the price tomorrow.
Double, triple, quadruple the price tomorrow. If you don't buy now, I will quadruple the price. I am Stedman Gates, businessman. If you don't buy now, you
You
will buy
die.
now, or you
If
die.
if you don't, it's the fear of missing out, right? That what is it? FOM or
Yeah.
FOMU?
FOMO.
FOMO. Yeah. Oh, I said FOMU. Yeah, FOMO. Um, yeah, that's so prevalent. I wish they would make a movie based on that. That would actually
It's a good horror movie
for
right
the
there.
more modern day. It's a
We got to write
nightmare.
this right now.
Maybe we should write it.
FOMO.
See if the script gets picked up by Spielberg or something.
Right, Lionsgate.
It's well, it's totally random, but I forgot to mention that I had a dream of Steve Martin recently. I was having lunch with him,
Oh, was it good?
I think with my wife, and it was fun. I wanted to do it again. Like we were vacationing somewhere, and we had lunch with him, and there was like spas and stuff, and it was nice. And the next
Nice.
day, I was like, "Let's do it again," and it didn't. I woke up. I ended up waking up. But yeah, that was a random dream I had recently. It was literally a
Oh,
few days ago.
um, I was talking to Tanya, and she was saying like, you know how in Doctor Strange there was dream walking, like when you dream, you're actually walking through it. You're actually living another person's, like another version of yourself.
Hmm.
And so she kind of believes that. And I was like, yeah, I was dream walking. So it could be there's a version of yourself that knows Steve Martin.
I doubt it, but I
I mean,
wish.
probably not.
I think at this point we can uh just wish everyone a Merry Christmas and
I'm not going to do that, John.
Happy New Year and
I'm not doing that.
why not?
No,
No,
it's
I'm just joking.
happy. I
I'm
will
not
not wish
happy.
anyone.
No.
I'm not. It's not a happy Christmas. No, it's no happy. Merry Christmas to everyone who is listening, who has listened over the last year. Um, we're gonna try some new things in the uh, next year, and not listening wise, we're gonna be here, but we're gonna try to evolve. And thank you for your blessings and your well wishes. We really appreciate anybody who's listened to more than one episode that is here right now. Really, really appreciate you. Um, I wish I could buy you uh, a thing. Um, so thank you to everybody who's listening and has listened before and will continue to listen. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
No, I want to say Merry Christmas to everyone, and I wish you a great time with loved ones and friends and family, and lots of hope, joy, peace throughout this season as well.
Yes. If we don't see you before the new year, have a wonderful, wonderful New Year's. Thank you for listening.
All right, thanks everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.